All right, let's get up here and get this trolling motor dropped into the water. Hot dang, still got power after 4 days. 4 days of guide trip and the Power Mate battery is still stroking it. Going fishing today, dragging some flats, trying to catch some catfish. Guess what? We're using this. I'll tell you why in a second. Then right there is the sun coming up. It's gonna be hot today. Upper 90s, heat index 107, 108. I'm gonna tell you some ways not to die out here in these kind of conditions. But first, let's get some baits in the water. There's a bait cut up. These babies cut up. I want you to show you something here, guys. I think a mistake a lot of y'all make when you're using chicken, you're using big giant pieces. You think big fish, big bait. They're eating this stuff because they're not feeding on big baits. Use small pieces. It will make a difference in how many fish you catch. On CNT rigs, I got the Carolina Lake weights as my drifting weight. Just some peg float, variety of different gear here. Piece of bait, a little bit bigger piece there. But even that, for most people, is a small bait. And relatively speaking, it is. Depending on what's out here feeding. If we get into a bunch of channel casts, those may be big. If there's some blues, which is what I'm looking for, some of these medium-sized blues, they may be here. Arches look good on the screen. Let's see if we can catch one. All right, the first rule of staying cool out here on the boat is having a bimini top. I know a lot of people think these things are for the rain. 95% of the time when I use it on my boat, it's for the sun. Without a doubt, having a bimini top on the boat is a game changer if you've never had one. It makes fishing in days like today a little more tolerable. And honestly, I probably would not be out here if I didn't have one. Having that little bit of shade is just a lifesaver when it comes to trying to stay a little bit cooler, not to mention more protection from the sun. All right, guys, are you ready for the cheater code for staying cool in the summer? Look at what I got here. What is this? Take a look inside this puppy. Oh, it is my lucky horseshoe. No, it's not. This, believe it or not, is a rechargeable air conditioner, a neck air conditioner. I'm not kidding you, folks. This thing is rechargeable. Got a power switch right there you push. You can hear it blowing air. It's really blowing now. Probably really hear it on the microphone. Blowing air up on the sides, down in the back. This is a cheater tool. This is nice. Oh, it even brings the fish out. I got a fish biting. Seriously, guys, check it out. It's this Coolify Taurus, and I'll put you a link down in the description. Nice and flexible, so if you got a big neck like me, or if you got a small neck, you can hang it around a kid's neck. It actually works really well. In all seriousness, I've seen people walking around at some of the amusement parks with these things, and it does look like a cool way to stay cool, no pun intended. Also, it blows out hot air, so if you want a little bit of hot air in the winter time when it gets cold, you can also use it for that. Got a convenient USB-C place there for charging. My suggestion is I would put this thing on a low setting to where it's just barely blowing, just enough to keep a little bit of air moving. Wouldn't run it all the way up, but yeah, it's just enough to keep some air moving, you know, get some air across your face when it's super hot. A little cheater deal. It is shaped like a horseshoe, and that's why we got a fish on. Let's catch this fish. Here we go. Boom, hooked up. Now, it will keep you cool. I'm not going to guarantee you that it's going to bring you enough luck to catch a fish every time, but it is pretty cool. I'm going to put you a link down in the description where you can check this thing out. Get you one if you want. They're available on Amazon. One of my Amazon affiliate links will get you there. Pretty cool that we got a fish this quick. Again, chicken, I've only been pulling 5 minutes, literally. That is a small blue. Damn. On the rattling Black Betty. Oh, they got a little mud coming up on them. I want you to see that. We'll talk about the mud in a second. I talked about that in a podcast recently. A small one, proof of concept, it works. Get it back alive. All right, nice small blue, good eater size blue. There was a little bit of mud on it. One of the things I talked about in a recent podcast was that we've kind of been losing the bite a little bit here mid-summer, and that can happen. I think it's a short-term thing. I think there's a lot of fish feeding up, and one of the things I said when they come back and start biting, I said there's probably gonna be some mud on them. It's almost like they feed really heavy, and then poof, they decide, hey, we'll take a break for a little bit, chill down here. That may have been what happened with that one one, who knows? But that one along a channel ledge, right as it dropped into some deeper water, I'm gonna pull through here, try the deeper water, pull back up onto the shallower part, and just see if there's any kind of bite pattern going on here. Chicken, it's working. Got a feeling it's going to work today. My recent guide trips have been about 90% chicken, and we have been fishing half and half. Half the boat, one side fresh cut bait, the other side with chicken, and almost every fish has come on it. So I know it's working. It's just a matter of finding some biting fish. Guys, that looked like a good bite on that outside planer. I'm gonna see if it stayed hooked up. Yeah, it did. It did. It did. It did. There we go. There we go. Come on, baby. It hit it and then went very slack. I'm right on a channel ledge. I'm trying some stuff here. I'll show you in a minute why I'm where I'm at in this area, and also talk about that big old stack of steam coming out of that stack behind me and what some of that will mean in all of this. Summertime fishing. I think this one's a little better than the last one. It's not a giant, but very happy to have it. 30-pound Andy line. Y'all know I use this stuff religiously. If you hadn't seen the video where I think it's illegal fish, go watch it. Show you what this 30-pound line will do. It'll pluck like a banjo string in the right conditions. Nice, nice, nice. Ease on up here, baby. Ease on up here. Come to daddy. Come to, ooh, got a little weight all of a sudden. Oh, felt like it came untangled. Oh, that's a good blue. Should have. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're gonna bug a grip on. Come on, baby. Got out. Get that off. Get that off. Get that off. There we go. That one's hooked really deep. I'm gonna spare it the cutting. Sometimes, guys, you will deep hook a fish. That's a good one there. 15, 16 pounds, and right there, look at that. You know what that is. I'll explain that here after we get it back in the water. Good fish. Let's get back alive. All that stuff protruding, that is not an air bladder. That has nothing to do with catching a fish out of deep water. That is from them expelling mussel shells, clam shells, snail shells. I'm trying to say a whole lot of snail words there. But yeah, it's how they expel those shells out of their body. When they eat these mussels and snails, their stomach digest what's inside of it, and the shell is left. The shell does not get digested, it is expelled. I mean, so that's a good sign that they're in here feeding on mussels. Probably why we caught that fish in through here. That one was on a channel edge, as I was saying. It looks like there's a little thermal pocket here in some deeper water. All the fish have been above it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's from a lack of oxygen. I seriously doubt that, since we're in the river section. There's probably water flowing through here, but the fish have been above it. So we caught that one right on a channel edge where it's coming up out of that deeper water. So I'm gonna keep pulling on this stuff and see if there's any more up through here. Guys, I'm watching this planer board do weird stuff, and I'm just, yep, it's hooked up. There's a fish. The board, I thought I seen it go back, and then all of a sudden it was doing something kind of weird. Line went slack, and when the boat's moving like this, slack line usually means there's a fish on it. So we got one on here. I don't think it's a giant, or would have kept yakking that board on back, but we'll get it off of here and take a look at it. A lot of debris in the water. The lake is up significantly, almost 2 feet, which is odd, especially considering it's not real muddy here. There's some debris, there's some mud up the river, but it's just a weird dynamic going on. Another small eater blue. Man, we have found the eater size blues. I don't know where these medium sized fish are. I am marking some what I think are decent fish on the screen. I am marking bait. I am marking a lot of stuff, but as y'all have seen, that's what we're catching. Happy to have them. If I was wanting to eat, that would be some to put in the cooler, but not sure. I'm gonna keep dragging through here, see what we can get. I'll rattle, catching them. Let's get it back in the water. All right, guys, one thing that is obvious, you hear it all the time, and that's hydration. I carry around this quart bottle with me of sugar-free Gatorade. That is really good. But here's the important part. You want something to drink out here. That's kind of obvious. What you need to do if you are gonna be out here in extreme heat, you need to be hydrating a day or two before you get out here. Once you get out here and you're thirsty and you're sweating, you're kind of behind the 8 ball at that point. If you know you're going to be out here fishing in the heat, and you guys that work in the heat, do construction, that kind of stuff, you know this, you have to hydrate before you get into the heat. It's so that you are hydrated at a cellular level in your body. So a little tip, you know you're going to be out in it, start hydrating well before you get there, a day or two beforehand. I do a lot of work around racetracks, and we're out in the heat 7-8 hours a day. We start hydrating a couple of days in advance because you will sweat all the way through there. You have to consume water while you're out there, but you need to go into the day and into the heat hyperhydrated. The bottom line is you will just feel better. You know, you're not necessarily going to get dehydrated to the point you need medical attention, but just the fact of going out there and being hydrated, it will help you stay cooler, and you'll just feel better, which means you'll stay out there and fish longer. Which one is this going? I think that's got a fish, man. Let's see. Let's see. Yep, a fish. Another small fish, man. I'm into small fish. What do you do when you're in this situation? Well, if you're trying to catch big fish, you probably need to load up and leave, to be perfectly honest. You know, if you're on the bank or in the boat. If you're on bank, it's tougher. You kind of have to wait it out unless you've got a lot of options for fishing different areas, and if you have a big enough area to fish. We're just covering water, hoping we hit one. We caught one down there, so, I mean, they're around. It could just be time of day in the bite, so we'll see what happens. This is a channel, another eater size channel. Man, finding the big fish is tough, tough, tough. That's fishing. That's fishing. That's hot weather fishing.